guys, we are going to make this cute hexagon bag today. I'm going to show you how to make this with enclosed seams and also with exposed seams. We're going to do both ways. So let's do enclosed seams first. Enclosed means that you don't see any seams at all. You have liners added. You don't see any seams. So we're going to make this version first. Right here. This is the 5x5. I like this size because you can put little gift cards in here. You can put chapstick in here. It's cute to hook onto bags. So this is the size I like to make. So we are going to make this. So come with me to the machine and I'm going to show you how to get started. Okay, I'm on my machine. A lot of people ask what machine I'm running. Right now I am running the Baby Lock Meridian. I used to have the Baby Lock Spirit. I upgraded to this one, so I am running that now. I have my 5x7 hoop because I'm making the 5x5 size. I have one sheet of cutaway on here. You can do tear away, but it stays in your bag and you can kind of hear the crinkle. So I prefer using cutaway. So I have one sheet of cutaway on my 5x7 hoop. I have my design loaded right here. And the very first step is going to be stitching this placement onto your hoop. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch that. I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what your placement looks like right here. Now this tells you a few things. One, it shows you where to place your zipper, but then also it shows you how big your fabric needs to be. So that's all you need. I'm going to go ahead and place my zipper. This is an 8-inch zipper, and this works perfectly for this 5x5. The way you know you have a big enough zipper is you need to be able to get your zipper pull, and also your stopper needs to be far enough over the placement lines that the machine, as it's going around, won't hit either one of them. That's how you know you have a big enough zipper. This one works perfect, but I don't have this in navy. I just looked, so I'm going to use this bigger one. This is the only navy I have, and I want to use navy because I'm going to be using this fabric right here, and so I wanted navy with it. So I'm just going to use this long zipper. It works completely fine. So I'm going to show you how you place that on here. So you have this dotted line in the middle. You can either line up the middle of your zipper right here. You can see where the zipper teeth would be in the middle. You can line it up exactly on that line. I just go ahead and line it between these two lines right here as close to exact as you can. You can see a little bit of the line here and a little bit of the line here. That's where you want it, and I'm going to tape it. Now the other thing I wanted to show you is when I do this pattern, I always write what's going to be the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to do my zipper pull on this side over here. So I'll show you later why this is important. I'm going to put top right here, and then when I flip this, I'm going to put top right here, just so I know. And I'll show you why that's important later. It has to do with directional fabric, and you'll want that for directional fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and put the zipper pull up here. If you wanted the zipper pull coming from this side, you can just, all you do is switch it and put it on this side. But I'm making this my top over here, and I'm going to put my zipper pull right here. So I'm going to go ahead and line that up between those two lines, and I'm going to go ahead and tape it. I usually just hold this at my machine and just keep my hands out of the way, but you can do whatever you like. I'm going to show you how to tape it since I'm over here. Just going to keep it right there. And you could tape it more, but this will be good enough. Okay, so you can see that it is directly in the center and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and take this over to my machine, and I'm going to run the very next step, which is going to go ahead and stitch right here. It's going to jump the zipper teeth, and it's going to stitch on the other line. It's just tacking your zipper down to your stabilizer right here. So I'm going to go over and run that, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, it went ahead and stitched that. You can see that it is, let me take this tape off now. You can see that it's tacked down on either side. It's stitched here and here, and now your zipper is attached. Okay, so the next step is going to be putting your top fabric right here on this side. This is the first side that stitches up here. Okay, so I'm going to show you the fabric I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using this fabric. I got this fabric from Joann's recently, so if you like it, you can go look. I'm going to do a different one on either side like I did here. You can have both sides the same fabric in the back, but I like the contrast of having two different fabrics. Okay, so this is the fabric I'm going to use, and you're going to need 6 pieces of fabric. You need 1 outside piece for this, outside piece for this, and then 1 back. And then you need 3 liners, 1 for this side, 1 from this side, and 1 in the back. So you need 6 total pieces. So you need 3 liner pieces, and you need 2 fronts and the back of your bag piece. So I've already pre-prepped most of it. I was just going to show you a couple things. So I have this side, and then this is my back. I'm going to show you how to prep that. And then I have 3 liners, this, and this. Okay. So let me bring you over and I'm going to show you how to prep it. Okay, I'm going to show you how to go ahead and prep all your fabric. You can, if you like to know your measurements ahead of time, you can see all the measurements. They're written out for you in the PDF file that comes with the design. I don't do it that way. I go completely off of the placement stitches always. I never go and look at any of that. The placement stitches are there to show you how big a fabric you need. So I use those and I prep my fabric as I go. So the way that I do it, I go ahead and I basically just fold my fabric the right way I want it to go. And I go ahead and place it next. I'm only going to do one side. So I'm going to place it right here next to the zipper. And then I see where the placement is right here. And then I just go ahead and cut. So I'd cut right here. And I've already done that. So you can see I have this strip of fabric right here. Okay. So then I would just go like this. And then I would go ahead and cut it big enough down here. And I'm going to cut this little excess off right here. Okay, so I have a big enough piece of fabric right here. It's going to get past all these stitch lines, and you need to fold this. So you're going to go ahead to get a clean edge. You're going to go ahead and fold this and iron it so you have a clean edge that's going to go up along that zipper. So you need this side and this side, and I'm going to go ahead and use interfacing on here. I'm using this right here. This is Pellin 931TD. It's just mid to heavyweight fusible interfacing, and I'm going to show you how to use that. I went ahead and put it on here already. So this is my one side, and then I put it on here and I fold it over. You see I have a clean edge right here. I fold it over and ironed. So I have my 2 front pieces right here completely prepped, ironed, and folded over. So these are ready to go. So you need those 2. Then you need a big enough piece to go over the back right here, which I have. I cut it. It's right here. I'm going to use this for the back fabric. You can see you have the 2 side pieces and then the back. Okay, so I have this right here that I'm going to use. Now I'm going to show you how to prep this. I prepped the others ahead of time. So you're just going to go ahead and iron your woven fabric. That's what we're using. I'm going to turn it over the wrong side facing up. Now this interfacing, I cut a big enough piece. You have a smooth side and you have kind of a scratchy side. The scratchy side is just basically little glue dots or whatever that let this fuse to your woven fabric. So I'm going to put the scratchy glue dot side down against the wrong side of the fabric. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to iron it on. And this heat is just going to adhere it to your woven fabric, and it lets your fabric just be a little thicker. That's all it's doing. It's making your fabric thicker. Okay, so now it's on and you have a little thicker piece of fabric. So on my outside pieces, I did that to all of them. So I have the interfacing on here, interfacing on here, and then I went ahead and ironed a clean edge to our 2 front pieces. And then this is our back piece, and I just have a piece of interfacing on it. So this front outside fabric and the back fabric are all ready to go and ready to place. Now you're going to do the exact same thing to the liner, just no interfacing. The liner doesn't need interfacing, so I have the bigger piece that goes across the whole back, and this is just woven fabric, no interfacing. And then I have 2 side pieces that are measured the same way, and then a clean edge is folded over and ironed. Okay, so this is everything you need for your fabric right here. Okay, so we are ready to go. We're going to go ahead. What we're going to do is do our top first. So this is where it's kind of important. Let me show you. This is the top of this bag, and I didn't want like these words upside down. These didn't really matter because they were sideways, but these words, you wouldn't want those upside down. So this would have been like this. This is the top, so I knew to place my fabric the right direction. Now the fabric I'm using this time doesn't need it, but this was the fabric I used. I also got this at Joann's if you like this fabric. Let me show you, I have a bigger piece. It has a bunch of like words and stuff. I thought it was cute. So this is the top. So if you were placing this, you would want to place it like this with the words going the right way. Or if you were putting it on this side, you would get your clean edge and prep it. You'd put it like this. This is why the top matters for here. My fabric doesn't matter because it can go either direction. So I just wanted to show you that. So this top one, this side right here, so when this is on the machine, this side right here is going to stitch next. So you're going to go ahead and take whatever fabric you want on this side, the top fabric with the clean edge, and you're going to go ahead and place it right next to the zipper like that. So you can tape it or you can hold it over at the machine. You just want it straight and nice and clean like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and stitch the next step. It's just going to go ahead and stitch the same thing across. Now you will see the stitching. You see how there's a top zip or a top stitch right there? I used white on this bag. So make sure to change your thread to whatever color you want to see right there, okay? Because that's what's going to stitch next. It's going to go ahead and stitch here, there, and tack this down to your zipper and your stabilizer. So I'm going to go run that, and I come right back and show you what it looks like. Okay, I used navy thread, so it went ahead and tacked that down right there on the zipper, okay? So we're going to place the next one on the other side of the zipper, right next to the zipper teeth, like we did there. So here's my other side with my clean edge. I'm going to go ahead and place it like this. Now, if you have directional fabric, remember, we put top up here with the zipper pull, so you're going to want to make sure your words are going the right way, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and place it like this, right next to those zipper teeth, okay? And then you can go ahead and tape it or hold it. Now it's going to do the same thing. It's just going to tack down this side. So I'm going to go ahead and run the next step. I'll come back and show you. Okay, guys, this is what it looks like right here. It went and tacked both sides down. Now we're going to go ahead and flip our hoop, and it's going to go ahead and do the liner over here first. I'm going to tell you two different ways to do things. You can do it whichever way you prefer. You can cut out your stabilizer where your zipper is right now, and this is when I'm going to do it, or you can cut it out at the end when everything's stitched together. But I like to do it now so I don't get close to my fabric. I'm just taking a pair of scissors and I'm poking here and I'm just cutting in between, so you have the center line where your zipper teeth are lining up against, and you have two lines on either side. I'm cutting in between these two lines. So I'll show you it when it's done. This is where you're going to turn your bag when we turn through the zipper. Okay, so that's what I took out, just that little piece right there. And you can see right there is the zipper teeth right there. So that's where you would cut out. You can cut it out later too when the bag's complete. You do not have to cut this out right now. I cut it out just so I don't cut my fabric. My fabric's not in the way. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and stitch the two liner pieces that go on either side, and it's going to do this top one first over here. So you're going to take your fabric. This is your liner fabric and it has a clean edge. You're going to go ahead and bring it right over. You want to bring it past where the stabilizer stitch line is. You want to bring it next to the center line where the zipper teeth is, kind of like where you did here. You placed it right next to the zipper teeth. Right here, the zipper teeth is this line going down the zipper. If you didn't cut this out, it's that dotted line that's going down the center, okay? So you're going to go ahead and take your fabric. Make sure you get it past, like right there. Make sure your fabric's big enough to get past here to your placement line. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tape your underneath your hoop. There's also an option on this if you're trying to like speed through. This pattern is really quick and it's good for scraps because it's small. Sorry, that's my iron beeping. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and tape that where it's straight and right next to the zipper. You can go and run the next step. It's going to go ahead and do that exact same step, tacking this liner to your stabilizer. You also can tape and then come back and do the next one. I'm going to do it the way the pattern runs, but if you're trying to do things fast, you can also do the other side. You would be placing it right up here and tape here, so you don't have to pull it back off the machine and tape it after the fact. It saves a little bit of time, and that's how I would do it if I wasn't doing a tutorial. I would just check underneath to make sure nothing moved between the two steps, but we're going to run it step by step. So the next step is just this top one. Remember, it's going to do this side. That's not what side I taped. Hold on, let me tape the right side. Okay, so it's going to do this top one first. Okay, so I just had the thing face the wrong way. Okay, I'm just going to tape this down right there, just making sure that I'm not going over any of the stitch lines. So this is how you want to place it right there, not over the zipper teeth line, but right next to it. Okay, and then when it's on your hoop, it's always this top one that's stitching first. Okay, so I'm going to go put this on my hoop, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch that. When I get it onto my hoop, I kind of look a little to make sure that the tape didn't move before I stitch it. Okay, so go ahead and check it first before you hit stitch. Okay, here's the top. You flip it over, it went ahead and stitch, and you can kind of see by the white stitching where everything is. You see how it's nice and done. Okay, so we're going to do the other side now. So we're going to take this side and just do it right under that spot as well, like that. Tape it down. I'm going to tape down here as well so it stays put. I'm going to tape edges so your edges don't flip up on you. Okay, so it's all set to go. It's going to do the same thing just on this side now, tacking your liner down to your zipper and stabilizer. So I'm going to go ahead and go stitch that. Then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Remember, when you get this on your machine, make sure to kind of look before you stitch to make sure none of this pulled up or moved. Okay? Okay, guys, that's what it looks like right there. Went ahead and tacked down both sides. Okay, so you're good to go there. Now we're going to go ahead and turn it back over to the front, and we're going to pull our zipper down. This is when you put the back, let me find where there. When you put the back of your fabric on the front of your bag, you always open your zipper. So go ahead and open your zipper. If you don't open this zipper, you won't be able to turn your bag. So you need to do this. Zipper open. Now I like to put these little fold over elastic. Fold over elastic is just stretchy elastic, and these cute little swivel lobster clasps. I like to put these on here because I like to hook these onto other bags and stuff. It ends up being really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. Let me find what fold over elastic I want real quick. Sorry, I didn't prep which one I want. I probably just want like the navy, I'm thinking. It's not navy, that's like bright blue. Yeah. Oh, it's kind of pretty, sparkly. Okay, I'm going to use this one. It's just stretchy. It's called fold over elastic, or people call it full. It's just stretchy elastic. So I'm going to cut a piece of this. Okay, I'm going to get my clip real quick. Okay, here's my clip. Now there's a right side and a wrong side to fold over elastic. You want the right side showing up so the wrong side's folded together for you to make a loop. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on like this. Okay, so right sides are out. Okay, now you're going to go ahead and place this on the inside. The lobster clasp needs to be placed on the inside of the bag. Later on, the way that I always remember to know which way to place it is anything you want to keep needs to be placed on the inside, because we cut all the way around this at the end. And if it was on the outside like this, even though that's how you ultimately want it later on, it would get cut off. Okay, so this is the top of my bag right here. Let's see, right there. Okay, so I'm going to place it exactly on the zipper. So I'm going to go ahead. You can see your placement lines right here where these are stitching. That's where it's going to stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and place it along that line down the center of the zipper like this. Now, if you pull it this way, where this line is, that's where it's going to stitch. So that will make this longer. If you want it shorter, you need to pull it this way more. Now, make sure, if you're making this really short, make sure that your metal is far enough away from this placement stitch line that the machine, the needle, won't hit it. Okay, so that's your restriction. You got to give it enough that the machine, when it goes by here, it's not going to hit your metal. Okay, so I'm going to place mine right there, and I'm going to just tape it up here. Okay, now if there's anything else you want to place on this bag, this is when you do it. If you're doing like a tag with your business on it or whatever, you'd be placing it the same way as this, the right side on the inside. And then, like say for example, you had words here or whatever, you would do the folded place and you would place it on the inside like that. Okay, and then when the words would be facing down. So they'd be on this side, you'd face those down. So when it flips over like this and you would see the words. Okay, so if that makes sense. Okay, I'm not putting anything else on this bag. Now also, I didn't mention this before, but if you were putting somebody's name on here or something, you would stitch it before you do the liner because you don't want to see the back stitches. So the way to remember when to stitch something extra, if you added something extra in your software to this design, like you put somebody's name on here, you need to stitch it before we placed these. So you would place your zipper, then you'd place this, and then you would stitch the name, then you would put on your liner so you don't see those stitches. Okay, so those are just some tips. Okay, so now you're going to take the back of your fabric. Now, if these had words, let me show you, mine's not directional. If you had words, these are words, you would take and you would do it like this, because this is the top of my bag. Whatever the top of your bag is, put it at the top, and then you would go like this, because then your words will be showing the correct way. See, my words are the correct way on here. So that's how you would do it. You would go ahead and put it like that and then like that, okay? And then your words will show the right way. I don't have directional fabric. Well, my lobster, if I want my lobster up, which I want him, the fish and the lobster kind of in the center. I kind of fussy cut this fabric so I could have those two in the center, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place it like this, okay? So you want right sides together. Your zipper is open. Make sure your zipper pull is on the inside. You don't want it to get hit by the machine right here either. So I have it pulled open, far enough open that I can turn through this hole, but then I make sure my zipper pull is up so it doesn't run into the machine needle when it goes around, okay? I'm going to go ahead and take my fabric, and I want my lobster kind of in the center. So I'm going to fussy place my fabric, okay? Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to go over to the machine and it's going to stitch all the way around here, enclosing your bag. There's not going to be any opening here. That's why you need the zipper open. Okay, so I'm going to go to the machine. I'm going to run the next step and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, that's what it looks like right there. It went ahead and stitched all the way around. This is what the top of your hoop looks like. The underneath still looks like this right here. Now we're going to go ahead and do our last step. So we know, I always kind of look, we know that this is the top. I wrote it on the back too. So if you flip your hoop over like this, I should have put the top over there more. Let me see where my top is. This is why I write on my hoop, because I don't have directional fabric, but you guys might. Okay, so the top is right here. I'm going to just write it over here so you see T-O-P. Okay. All right, so this is the top of our fabric. So I always just place it that way when I'm trying to place the fabric. Okay, so this is going to be the inside. Now, I don't have directional fabric on the inside, so it really didn't matter where my top is. But if you do, you're going to place it the same way you did the other stuff. I'm going to take that. So this is the right side up. So you place it well where you can read it the correct way. It's facing me and your top's up here. Then you're gonna go ahead and flip it like this. Make sure it gets past all your stitch lines. And once you do that, then tape it, then it will be facing the correct way, okay? So mine doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go ahead and place this over. Make sure you can get over all your stitch lines. This is our last stitch step. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and tape this down. Okay, so we are all taped down. I'm going to go put this on my machine. I'm going to stitch the last step. It's going to do this exact same thing, but it's going to leave an opening so we can flip through the opening. So I'm going to go run that. I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, we have all our stitch steps done. It went ahead and stitched the back, stitched the front, so you can take this off of your hoop now. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and cut around it. I always look on the back because you have the opening right here. You can see the opening, where on this side you can't see where the opening is. You don't want to cut all the way across because you want some of your liner fabric. So I cut in an angle over here. I'm just going to cut in an angle up to that stitch step. Now you don't want to cut any of your stitches, but you want to cut next to them. So we are cutting all the way around this design. Okay. Now you can see it's cutting off the excess zipper, so it doesn't matter how long the zipper is. It's more to make sure that it's long enough. Okay, so that's where it's stopping. So I'm just gonna do that. You just want some of this fabric, okay? Okay, now I always take my liner. These are my 2 liner pieces. There's the hole right there. I'm going to take my 2 liner pieces. All this other extra stuff you don't need. So put up your liner pieces. I kind of like hold it like this, and then I turn this way so I can see the stitch lines. And then I just cut off this excess. Now make sure you don't turn your scissors. Always make sure you're cutting your scissors straight when you're cutting next to your seams over here, because if you cut like this at an angle, you'll cut your stitches. I always cut straight across, no angle, okay? And you can throw that away. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and turn through this hole. So I'm just gonna put my hand in here and get a corner, start pushing. It's pretty sturdy. Make sure not to tear your edges right here. You don't want to. So you're just gonna push it through. Okay, I have tape on me, hold on. Okay, you probably have turning things. I use this. This is just like a chopstick, or it was actually a piece to a turning system that I had, and I always just use it. And I kind of use the dull end. I don't use the pokey. I don't want to poke all the way through this woven fabric. Okay, so I just kind of getting my points out. Okay. Okay, when you kind of have it good, you can see we already cut that stabilizer, so our zipper's already open. If you didn't cut it, you would have stabilizer. You'd see the stabilizer right here. What you would have to do is just go ahead and make sure your fabric's out of the way, and then cut that stabilizer out so you have an opening right here. I like to do it ahead of time, so I've already done that. Okay, now I am going to go ahead and close this hole. There's lots of ways to close the hole. Sorry, I'm like looking for it. I'm going to use this right here. I have a bunch of extras so I can show you the packaging. Okay, so I'm going to use this right here. You could also use glue. This fabric tack glue works as well. You can also ladder stitch it if you want to ladder stitch it, but I'm going to use this. Okay, so you could also use like the hem tape stuff too, where you put it on and then iron it, but you'd have to use like some sort of sticky spray to get it to hold first. Just going to cut out those 2 little stitches. I'm just going to use this. It's going to go ahead and I put it directly on those stitch lines that you see. And get it across, and then I just tear it. Okay, and then I make sure that it's on really good. And then I flip this in. This is why you need the excess fabric on either side, because you kind of are going to sandwich it. So I take this side and sandwich it in. Okay, you're trying to get like a straight line right here so it can be a hexagon. Okay, once you get it lined up how you want it, then I go in here and I pull just a corner of this tape. Now, if it doesn't like pull, like if the sticky stuff isn't on your fabric right there, mine is, but if it isn't, then you need to just put that down and rub it harder until it adheres and you get the separation. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and then I line this up on the line. Okay, and I just do a little bit until I get it going and that this is sealed. And then I just pull it and sandwich it, pull it, sandwich it. When you pull this out, that edge always comes out, so I take the pointy side and I push that back in. Okay, and I finish sandwiching it. So then I just push it down to make sure it's good to go. And you can see the holes closed. Looks great. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead. I always cut these little strings right here. I always get a few. Don't cut your fabric, but I always get the little strings. Okay, so now you're gonna flip it through here now. Okay, hold on, I have some more strings. I'm just gonna cut all these excess little strings that are hanging. Okay. Now you're gonna go ahead and flip it through the zipper. And then you're gonna take your tool and you're gonna get these corners really good. I'm gonna get my iron going because I want to iron it so it's nice and crisp at the end. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and zipper it up and get it exactly how you want it. And I'm gonna iron it real quick. Let me get the iron. This bag's super cute, okay? And there you go. There's the front. There is the back right there. You have your little thing to hook. You open your zipper and you have your liner so you don't see any of your seams. It's completely enclosed. Okay, so that's how you do this one. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get my station re-cleaned up, and we're gonna go ahead and, if you wanna stay with me, we're gonna make this exact same bag, but we're gonna make it the exposed seam. So we're just gonna use vinyl, 3 pieces of vinyl, a zipper, and then I'm still gonna put a hook on here, so you'll still need the lobster clasp and fold over elastic. And I'm gonna show you how to put a name on the vinyl, and I'll show you the difference between enclosed seams and exposed seams, and I will see you in the next video. I will start it in a second. Okay guys, I have the hexagon design up, and this is running Embrilliance. So I am gonna go ahead and show you how to add a name to this design. So here's the design. You can see over here, you have the layouts. It just tells you all the different steps right here, and you can click on each one of them and it just shows you the steps. I'm gonna go ahead and put that up. We're gonna go ahead and add a name, and the way that you do that is you go up here to the A up here. You can see it brings in a name. Then if you come down here where it says text, you go ahead and highlight it. I'm gonna go ahead and add Parker, because I will send this to Parker. Okay. And then you can choose a lot of different fonts. This, when you buy Embrilliance Essentials, it comes with some fonts. I go ahead and I've added a bunch more that I've bought. When you buy fonts, you just want to make sure that it has the BX extension type font, because then you can bring those into Embrilliance and then you can use them. So I already picked this. You can scroll through all of these, but I already looked this ahead of time to make sure that it would fit. You can do smaller. I'm going to do a little bit bigger. Okay. So then I'm going to bring it up on this side, and I'm going to do it sideways like this. I think it looks cute. Now the thing you can do with names or these little toggles, so if you just pull the whole, if you just pull the whole thing, then it can move as a whole item. So I'm going to put that where I want it. But these little green boxes, this is kind of a cursive font, so I'm going to move these over so they touch. You can see that all the letters aren't touching. So I'm going to go ahead and click on these little green toggles, and you can move each letter individually. I'm going to move that one over. Move that one over. Okay, now I want to move the whole thing again, so I'm just going to pull it and space it how I want. Oops. Okay, now sorry, I'm gonna make it a tiny bit smaller. To make it bigger or smaller, you can pull from this direction. The other thing you can do is these fonts come in different sizes, so you can pick a different size that way. I already know the small one's too small, and this next size up is just a little bit too big, so I'm gonna shrink it a little bit. I wouldn't shrink and make things bigger like dramatically, because it changes like the stitches and stuff, but you can do it. Embrilliance software is smart enough to go ahead and add more stitches or pull some stitches out depending on if you're making it bigger or smaller. But that is how you add a name right there. So then it's going to end up being the end step. So I'm going to show you how to do that on a machine. How we can skip ahead and skip back steps to put this in the right place. But I'm going to go ahead and save this and get it loaded to my machine, and then I'm going to show you how to stitch it out. That is how you add names to items. So you just bring up the design, and I added it. So I'm going to go ahead and save it, and I'm going to show you how to stitch it now. Okay, I have my 5x7 hoop. I have one sheet of tearaway. This is exposed seams, which means you're not going to have any liner in it. So you are able to take this stabilizer out of the bag when it's finished. So I'm just going to use tearaway because I can just pull it off and you won't hear the crinkling. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and go over to my machine. I have one sheet of tearaway. I'm going to go ahead and stitch the very first step, which is the placement stitch like we did before, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what we look like, same as before. It went ahead and did the placement. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the top on here again. I don't have directional fabric, but you might. I'm going to put top over here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take a zipper. I'm going to use this one this time. This is the shorter one. Now I want the zipper pull at the top over here, so I'm going to place it like this. Remember, you place it between the two lines. So these are the same steps as before. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure they're between those two. I'm going to tape it. Come down here, tape down here. Okay, so I am taped and ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and stitch the next step, which is going to go ahead and stitch here, jump the zipper teeth, and stitch the other side, basically just tacking your zipper down to your stabilizer. I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. It went ahead and tacked that zipper down. Now I'm going to use vinyl. This is the vinyl I'm going to use. It's a pretty navy. This is Steel Blue Metallic by PUNKBROIDERY. So I buy all my vinyl from mypunkbroidery.com. So this is one of them. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just cut this big. So I'm just going to go like this, and I'm going to cut across. Okay, I need one piece that's big enough to go over the whole back. So there's that one for the back. And then I need two sides. So this is big enough. I'm just going to cut down the middle like this. Okay, so I should have that. And I should have one clean edge on both sides because I cut that way. Okay, so the first one that's going to go down is the top right here, this one right here, when this is on the thing, it's this one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get my edge, and I'm going to, this isn't a fold over like the fabric, we make a clean edge. This is vinyl and it doesn't fray, so you can just put it right up against your zipper right there, and you can tape it or hold it, and then we're gonna go ahead and stitch the next step. It's just gonna go ahead and stitch all the way around. Now remember, the line that goes right here is gonna show, so make sure, shows like this, it's like a top stitch. Make sure you pick whatever thread you want. I'm gonna go ahead and stitch that. I'll come back and show you. Okay, that's what it looks like right there. Can't really see, I used navy. Okay, we're gonna do the other side. So, which side's my, this one looks like my nice, this side, okay? So you're gonna place it just like you did the other side up next to the zipper, okay? You could tape it or hold it. Now it's gonna go ahead and stitch the other side. I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, this is what we look like. It has both of them stitched down. Now a couple of things, I didn't load the exposed seam file, so I still have the enclosed seam file on here, so I have those extra steps. If you load the exposed seams, it won't have these extra steps, but we're skipping steps anyways to show you how I added a name, so we're just going to skip those steps. So I'm going to show you how. So we're going to go, okay, so my steps were already showing, but you should have a plus minus right here with a needle. Find that on your machine. Then it brings up your steps right here. It's showing me that we're going to go ahead and put the liner on next. We're going to skip that on my machine. Now this up and down arrow skips entire steps. It either brings us back a step or forward a step. And then this plus or minus with the needle, that goes forward one stitch or back one stitch. Same with the 10 forward 10 or forward 100, back 10, back 100, back 1,000 plus forward. That's actual stitches within a step. These are full steps, so we're going to skip steps entirely. You can see that we're on 5 of 9 right here. I'm going to go down because I'm going to skip to the next step there. So that would have been the liner. There's the other liner. We're not doing liners. This is the back of the bag, which we will have to re-stitch. We still have to stitch that in this design, but we're going to move forward to the name. That's the liner, but we're not doing the liner. We're skipping the liner steps, but here's the name. It's at the very end of the design. So if you forward all the way till you find the name, that's what we're going to stitch. So go ahead and change your thread to whatever color you want, and we're going to stitch directly onto the vinyl right here. There's no lining or anything on it. This is the step that you would stitch a name. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch it. I'll come back and show you. Okay, this is what it looks like. It went ahead and stitched out the name right there. Now this is still our top, so I'm going to put this on again. This is full of elastic. This is a sparkly one. So I'm going to go ahead and put the clip on. It kind of sheds some of its sparkle, which is kind of gross, but okay. You want to open your zipper because we're going to put the back of the bag on next. So you open. Go ahead and put this right here. Same method as before. Gonna tape it down so it stays. Okay, now you're going to take the back of your bag, which is the same vinyl. And there's no direction on here, but if you had a direction, say that it's facing towards you the right way. Well, it depends on how you want to see it. If you want it going up and down like this, then you would go have it facing the right way and then go like that, so it's facing that way. If you want it, you could put the clip up here if you want this to open the other way. It just depends on how you're going to open it, which way you want it to go. But when I consider this the top, remember I always say this is the top because I have my hanging thing right here. If you have directional fabric facing you, you wouldn't do fabric here because it's not enclosed and it would fray, but if you had it here, the words would face you and you would go like that, and then it would be the right way when you're done. But mine doesn't matter again, so I'm just going to make sure I get over all my placement stitches like this. You're going to do right sides together, so that's the right vinyl together. And then I'm going to stitch the next step. It's going to go all the way around. I'm going to bring you to the machine though, because we've been skipping through steps, so I'm going to show you how to get back to the back of the bag. Okay, I'm on my machine. We have the back of our bag on the front of our bag. We're going to stitch that next step. So it brought us to the end of the design because the last thing in your design is the words because we added it. But I'm going to go over here back to my steps. If you don't see your steps, remember, oops. Remember, it's this, the plus and minus with the needle brings you to your steps. Okay, so these are your steps and your stitches. Okay, so I'm going to skip through these. My down arrow brings me backwards. You could go either direction. This will bring you back into the design. See, we're back to the name. Or you can go forward in the design. It doesn't matter which way you go. You can see the stitch steps right here change. So this is where we put the zipper. This is where we did the top. This is where we did the bottom. And then this is liner, which we're not doing, and that's liner we're not doing. Okay, so here's the back of the bag. This is what you're going to stitch right now. We're going to go ahead and stitch all the way around here. So your zipper's open. The back of your bag is placed right sides together on the front of your bag, and we're going to go ahead and stitch that. And remember, you won't have those extra liner steps. There's 3 steps added in here if you're working off of the enclosed seam files. Those are in there, but there are exposed seams and they will have those steps removed. So whatever one you open, but you can move around the design and it works the same way. So I'm gonna go ahead and stitch the next step and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. It went ahead and stitched it. We are done. We can take it off our hoop. Now this is tear away, so I'm gonna go ahead and tear all this away. When you have enclosed seams, these are inside the seam, so you can't take it out, so I use cutaway, but this one you can take it all off. It's gonna take like a second because you have to get around these stitches. Okay. Just turn this off. Your zipper's open, so this should just open. It helps you get some of these. If you have the tough strings, I just cut them on the side or pull them. One more little bit. It's the one placement stitch right there that holds that down. All right, that's all I'm going to take off. Let me throw this away. All right, this is what it looks like. You can see the stitching, you can see the seams and everything. And then this one, we're just going to cut all the way around. And this one you don't have to turn twice through the hole because you don't have it. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and turn this. I'm just going to go to the point edge. I'm going to flip it through. These are really fast if you aren't going to enclose them. They're fast even if you enclose them. I think the enclosed seams look better even if I do vinyl. I tend to enclose them. Okay, let me get my little thing and try to get my corners out. Hold on. Okay, I could probably work at getting my corners a little bit better. Try to get this one just a tiny bit better. All right, It's fine. Okay, so this is what it looks like right here. It's super cute. Front, back, hangs. You open it up. It's just the inside of the vinyl, but you can see the stitching and you can see the seams. So it's not that big of a deal. These bags are little enough that they're super cute. These are really cute gifts. Okay, so here's the ones we made. I thought it would be cute with this one. Okay, these enclosed seams has liner and you don't see the seams. This is exposed seams, and you do see any of the stitching and the seams. So that is the difference. Now, any of the other bags, this is the hexagon bag, but there's an octagon bag, there's the front zip square bag, there's all the front zip bags. Not top zip. Top zips are different, but all the front zip bags, the different shapes and everything, they're all constructed the same way. Whether you do exposed seams, it would be constructed this way. If you do enclosed seams, it's constructed this way. There's always different pieces, like there's the top, like on like a square bag, there's the top, there's the bottom, and then there's the back. It's constructed exactly the same way. All the steps are the same. It's just a different shape. So this is a good tutorial to watch if you're doing any of the front zip bags and you want to remember how to do it. They're the same. It's just a different shape. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. And, if you make any cute bags, go ahead and post them in the Parker on the Porch group page. That would be great on Facebook. And I will see you in the next tutorial. I hope this helps you. I hope you liked learning how to add words in Embrilliance and how to stitch the two different styles out. Thank you so much.